Hello everyone, I'm Fritz Viglia, and welcome to This Old Show Rod. On today's episode, we're going to be working with wood, with a saw and other tools of destruction to make a form to blow a bubble. So thanks for tuning in and enjoying the episode. Alright gang, welcome to wood shop. I know, we usually don't use things like right angles or left angles or pencils. What are we doing here? Well, we got to make a form to blow a bubble. Now I've never had a bubble blown, and all the bubble top stuff I've done, I've always built around pre-existing shapes that were already blown because, well, that's cheaper. I gotta have to pay the freight on the old Beatnik Bandit here, and well, I got 2 sheets of 3/4 ply. Let's look real quick. Yep, 3/4 inch plywood, and I got a bunch of 2x4s, and I've got some cut. And in essence, what we're going to do here is we're going to make this. One side, one piece of the plywood is going to be solid. The other piece is going to have our hole cut in it. I'll bring you over, I'll show you what we got on that ring on the Beatnik Bandit right there. And then we have to get the depth. Now I measured the real car, and the depth of the bubble is 15 inches. Now I've cut these to 16 inches, so I don't want to get real close to the wood making the bubble. That should be about right. And most of the things I've done on this car are close enough or about right. So I know that I have a 96-inch piece of 96-inch length of 2x4, and the math happens to work out where I get 5 16-inch lengths out of it. So basically, we're going to be putting these, and the fellow I've spoken to at the plastic shop wants these 6 inches apart. Well, I'm going to do the math and figure out where all the, I'm not going to just do it and then I have one that's like like an inch or 2 from the last one. I'll do the math and figure them out so they're evenly spaced. But that's about how tall it's going to be. It's going to be heavy as crap. Even moving this piece of plywood, I'm a little winded and exasperated from picking that up by myself, because as we know, most of the stuff I do in here, I'm flying Han Solo. So that's really it. This will probably be a quick episode because we're just going to make this bubble top form. You'll see how I do it. And just the fact that I'm doing this, from doing fabrication and welding and auto body style work to doing basically some carpentry stuff, is all the more reason why, and I'll throw out some political comment, I guess if you want to call it, it's all the reason why we need shop class in schools. I loved shop class. Shop class was great. I even took home economics. I took wood shop, metal shop, ceramics, print shop, plastics. If they had a shop, I took it. I tried everything. And I enjoyed all of them. And to have all those shop classes, that was junior high school. In high school, I took sand casting, small engine repair, and things of that such. Because as a kid growing up, you just kind of figure out what you gravitate towards. And that's probably why we need machinists in this country right now, as this sits in February of 2021. We can't keep sending everything to another country to be made. There's plenty of people here that can make it. And I didn't do so great at machine shop because I didn't have a machine shop when I went to high school. I picked up a high school machine shop book and I taught myself and I bought equipment. And I do pretty well for the stuff that I'm building. But enough of that, because that's not what you're here for. What we're here for is to figure out how to build a form, and this is how Darryl Starbird's done it. Ed Roth has done it, Dean Jeffries. This is how you do it. So we're going to make this, and when we're done with this, I guess the next episode will be we're going to take ourselves to the plastic shop, and we're going to see how the plastic guy blows a bubble. I know you've seen guys like Bad Chad, whatever his name is, Ian Russell. They've made up their own ovens to heat the plastic and blow it, and I've only seen Ian Rousel. I've only seen him do it. If it works for them, hey, that's fantastic. I don't know how many bubbles I'm gonna make, and I also don't have TV budget money behind me to make some kind of contraption, so I'm just gonna go pay the guy that does it all the time. I can do an interior in a car, but I'd rather have the guy that does it right the first time do it, because that makes him worth the money. So that's it. Enough BS. Let's cut some wood. All right, guys, this is the ring I had made when I did all the plaster work to form the fiberglass over. I made this by knowing the outside dimensions that the original car was, because I measured it, and taking the ring from the model kit, putting it on an overhead projector, and shining it on a bigger piece of plywood to the square I had that was the outside dimension of this ring, and that's how I came up with what I've got here. So this is what we're going to work with. I built the body to this shape. Actually, from sitting in the garage, I thought this would have warped, but this is in fair enough shape other than the plaster buildup on it to actually use for the real bubble ring, and I'll probably just do that. But I need this ID hole, the inner diameter, to transfer onto my piece of plywood to blow the bubble. So the outside diameter of this it's 48 inches. So we know that that piece of plywood's 4 foot by 8 foot. So I don't need it 8 feet long because this is only measuring it, about 53. So I'll just go for, I guess, 60 inches. And I'm guessing that should be fine for the guy at the plastic shop to blow it. So I'll have to cut that piece of plywood down to 60 inches in length. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to take a break and go call him real quick. So let's have at it. Get that done. We'll cut both pieces to 60 inches in length by 4 feet. And then I got to figure out how I'm going to transfer this in a nice clean shape onto the plywood. To screw this bubble ring down because, well, I don't want it to move by accident, and even if it's just a 1/16 of an inch and screw me up. And from when I made this bubble ring, I do have my center line, and I have a crisscross eyesight in the middle, so I know where dead center is, and I measured the length of the bubble ring, did my math and divided it so it's so far off the edges. So one thing I'm noticing is, especially on the outside edge, when I made this, I just made it haphazardly real quick to have a guide or a form, so I knew how to make the top of the Beatnik Bandit body. So it's not as clean on the edges as it could be. So, and I can see it's like really kind of rough over here. What I'm going to do is make a light pencil mark on the inside and outside, and then I'm going to have to clean them up so they're really, really nice. And I probably will end up using this piece of wood as the bubble ring later. Because the bubble, the way Ed mounted it, gets screwed right to the edges here. Not the way I do it. If anyone out there has bought my How to Build a Fiberglass Body at Home DVD. And again, I'll throw a little commercial. You can get that at www.spritzbyfritz.com. I mount the flange completely differently, so it's all hidden hardware. Ed actually mounted it right to the side of the wood with interior screws. There's those Phillips head chrome screws with the large washer. So that's what we're dealing with. And I can see I probably need to screw it down the edge. It's a little flexing. So I'm going to do a light pencil scribe. I'll come back. I'll make templates. I'll clean it up. I'll do a lot of measuring. and I'll get a really nice line to cut out. And I'll probably cut the center out after I bolt both of my pieces of plywood to all the 2x4s, because then it won't flex and wobble because it's going to be real thin around the edges. Now, I know you can't see the top of the wood too good from your perspective, but like I had said, I have a crosshair here from front to back, side to side. And what I've done now is I've pizza pie cut that. Pizza, huh? Be good right about now. Call up Domino's. It'll get here by the time this video is done. So, and I've split this now from corner to corner, not the very corner to the edge here, to the corner of my square that the bubble ring fits in. I went from the center point to that corner, and then this way I've made those measurements all the same. So if I measured from here to the inside of the bubble ring, then to the outside, on both sides, and whatever was the intermediate number, like if this was 24 and 3/16, and this side was 24 and a half, I rounded it up, I made them both 24 and a half. And that's what I did on all the insides and outsides. So now that I've got this in quarters, and I've made it in eighths, I'm going to go for 16s now, because, there might be a lot of people at the party. I need extra slices of pizza. So now I'm going to divide these and measure again. So to do that, where these inside lines meet the inside edges of the ring, I'll measure from point to point, find the center on that and make a mark, and then go from this to that, and then measure the inside and outsides. And I'll do that maybe 16th, and then maybe I'll go for 30 seconds. And there's probably a better way in some Isaac Newton kind of Einstein mathematical theorem that'll do that for me. But I'm not that smart. I'm just good looking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then it gives me points that are all closer together, and I can probably freehand one side and have it come up really clean, and then I can transfer that to a template and cut a cardboard template or oak tag paper to make it go from one side, and I'll transfer it to the other side, and so on and so forth, and I'll use that to get my good, even measurement throughout the ring. You've seen me, I traced the original piece of wood I used for my mock-up, and then I crisscrossed, I found center, and I pie cut this, pizza pie cut it, and I want to zoom the camera in and show you exactly what I mean by that, and how I came to be where I am now. So if you look at this quadrant I have of the ring, what I did was I found the center, like I had told you, the up and down, the side to side, and then I divided that, and then I took that half and divided it, and then I divided all those. So I ended up with, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. I have 32 individual lines coming off the center, and each one of those I measured to here. I got 22.5 inches to 26 3/4. The next one I got 23 1/4 to 27 5/8, so on and so forth. And so I would correlate like these measurements here on this side with the opposing side. And I'll zoom in and I'll show you that. So now, after having this all drawn up and I hard lined with a pencil, everything I liked. And I got a couple, 2 or 3 lines. I got 2 lines here in spots where I kind of dressed it off from side to side. I did the best I could with this French curve, going around and you know, putting it in here and finding what was the cleanest way to go from one line to the other and connect it. So then, we grab this here off the back. I made a tracing paper template. So with the tracing paper template, now this is kind of flimsy and everything, I wanted something stiffer, so I grabbed oak tag and I would lay this over it like so. And I'm going to show you how I did this later. And then I went ahead and I took a spray can and I just dusted the edges. And then I cut myself a nice template that I can use, and I'll use a Sharpie now to cut it out, and I'll follow that black line. So this will sit down nice, this will be definite, it won't really, this isn't really super, you know, strong, it's just very flimsy, but this will be better. So let's go ahead and we're going to set up and make a new template for the back side, because this will be the same from left to right for the front half. I need this now for the back half. Traced out with my Sharpie marker on the wood the inner diameter and outer diameter of the bubble ring. So now I went around the outside edge and I spaced out where my 2x4s are going to go. Now we're going to blow a 15-inch deep bubble, and these are 16 inches because I could get 5 of these out of a 96-inch long 2x4. So doing the math now, this plywood, you know, when it sits on top of the Lexan when they blow it, is already 3/4 of an inch thick. So I have 1 3/4 inches too much, so that'll be a good leeway of where this bubble should fall, give or take. So I think we're good with the height. But I spaced it out so I could put these. I need 5 per side, and I'm going to have the corners be like this, doubled up. I don't know if you guys can see that at home too great, just like so. And then I'll have like this here, that being the center, so there'll be a few more down that side, and I have it all spaced out here on where all my 2x4s are going to go. So this is the kind of IKEA furniture coffee table look it's going to be. So I just put the other piece of plywood on top, and that's really kind of like bada bing, bada boom, right? But I just got to cut more of these. I need 20 of them in total. I should be able to get to that no problem. And I'll probably just set the plywood on the floor with the 2x4s underneath and then start screwing it together. Done yet. But we have our gaping huge hole to make the bubble. Now I've got to, this whole side sits against the Lexan glass, and where I put the screws in, some of the wood is splintered up a little bit, so I'm going to rough up the top of this in those spots with my DA. And I'm also going to go in here and clean up these edges. And there's a couple spots where maybe I waved with the jigsaw. I'll use some 36 on a sanding block or something, and I'll clean this all up and round the edges so they're not sharp, and then we'll pretty much be done. So let me just get that going, set my DA up, and finish this out. Well, that's it, gang. It looks good, and the edges are all cleaned up, so there's not going to be anything to mar the edges of my bubble when I get it blown, but I'll know when I see my buddy Frank there at the plastic shop. It's the first time I've ever made a mold to do a bubble, so like I had said earlier, I always buy them in pre-made shapes. Makes my life a lot easier, but for this project we had to go with the bubble form. That's a done deal. So, I guess we're off to spend a lot of money right now, finally, huh? So, this bubble can be brought to us by my Patreon members, and I want to thank you guys very much, because this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you guys. And if it wasn't for you guys out there that buy stuff off my website, my Patreon members, and everybody else, I couldn't do what I do. And I really, really appreciate it from you guys. So, All right, I guess next episode we'll be at the plastic shop watching how they make a bubble. I've seen it, but I've never had one done, so this is a new experience for me too. And I'm glad you guys are going to be able to go along with me and see what it's like, for real. No Hollywood glitz, no nothing. It's just going to be me and my two cheap Made in Japan cameras, and that's that. So, hey, don't forget to click and subscribe. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in and watch all the stupid things that I do. So get out there in the garage and build something. I'll see you for the next exciting episode, because we're going to be making that bubble.